When you're this close to getting bird pooped or getting pooped on by a bird. I don't know which one sounds better, but anyways, I was this close today, this close to getting pooped on by a bird. And I just, for me, it was just like, was it a sign to avoid doing? I was going to the gym, and then outside of the gym, this bird poops right in front of me, and I was like, is this a sign that I shouldn't go to the gym today? Is this a sign that the gym is like cursing me away? But it was actually, you know what I mean? It was actually just like it was really a sign to like use my reflexes to like dodge. So it was kind of like a telling that like your reflexes need to go up, so that way, you know what I mean, you can kind of avoid more bird poops that happen like that. But anyways, dude, I think of all the times, all of the people who have done all of the things to basically get rid of like those kinds of situations where it's like, obviously, if you live near trees or if you have like a tree in your front yard and stuff, like bird poop, they're gonna be birds and stuff, right? But a building, like this was a building, and you kind of were like saying to yourself like, okay, birds shouldn't be hanging out here, all right? But the reason that they were right there at the gym is because where the gym is located, the hottest day, the hottest time of the day, the building has like a shade. It's shaded. So the birds can kind of avoid the shade and like perch on like the gym sign, and it can kind of like hang out there. And that's the reason why they're right there at the front. So as I'm walking past the parking lot trying to get to the door, there it comes. I'm walking, okay? Each step I take through the parking lot is just another step closer, another step closer, another step closer. I get onto the sidewalk from the parking lot. I take one step, two step, three steps, and on my fourth step, I can see it. I can see it. All right? Now I don't know what it is. It's like, you know how like in movies or maybe in TV shows, like they'll highlight like a what's it called, a raindrop, and like it'll kind of sparkle, and they'll focus so clearly on it, so vividly, but like in actual reality, like you'll miss it. But it was like that. It was like one moment, it was like somebody dropping a penny. You know what I mean? It was like that close. So they're doing the thing, right? And then it falls, and then you can hear it. So it was just, you know what I mean? I can't do it justice. It was just like a simple like, you know what I mean? It was like something like that, just like a little splat, just a little like tiny little baby clap. It was just like a, you know what I mean? I don't know if you can hear that on the audio. Let me try it again one more time. It was just fourth step and then just like a quick splat, but I could hear it. So, imagine my surprise, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, that bird almost pooped on me. And then in that moment, I had to make a judgment call. I was like, what is this? What is this trying to tell me? What is this bird poop? What is this bird poop really trying to tell me about my life? And I think, honestly, it's a sign of it's like a bigger thing than just the bird poop. You know what I mean? It was a literal poop of my you know what I mean, of my destination, like where I was going. You know what I mean? It was kind of like a redirection, if we're being honest here. Got me second guessing myself, starting to think about every little thing that matters in my life, and I start thinking to myself like, what is this trying to tell me? Like, where on the tarot cards does this pop up? You know what I mean? Is there a tarot card for bird poop? What's going on here? So that happened to me. And then as soon as I got inside the gym, because I kept on going, I was like, no, I'm trying to do the right thing. I'm going to stick to it. So I get inside of the gym, and then as I'm doing my workout, all of a sudden, all of my interactions with birds and bird poop start coming vividly into my mind. So I have only been pooped on by a bird once in my life that I can recall. And that was, I was a kid. I was like maybe 8 or 9 years old. And I used to play sports at the YMCA. The YMCA used to, you know what I mean? You could do sports there. So as a kid, I kind of was signed up for every single sport, you know? You could play soccer. You could do baseball. You could do flag football. You could do this, that, or the other. You could do soccer. You could do whatever out there, right? It's just, you could play any kind of sport out there. And so I got signed. I was playing baseball. Baseball was the really big thing. And I was really good at first base, but I'm not, you know, I like first base because that's where the most action is at, but I, at times, would get outfield. So if you know anything about the outfield, it's a lot of waiting. So basically, you're second up. So you have to be like, basically, if you're in the outfield, you have to be the fastest and a good thrower. You know what I mean? You can't be, if you're in the inner diamond, right? Like in that, where the dirt is, the gravel and whatnot. If you're in that inner diamond, all you have to worry about is just pass coordination. So as soon as you get the first base done, you did it, right? So if they hit the ball to like shortstop throws it to first base, then first base throws it to second or third or home plate, wherever it needs to be, depending on how many people are there, right? So it's just all about like, it's quick passes and it's relatively easy because it's on the small thing right there, right? But when you're on the outfield, if they hit it far out there, you have to catch it right there, like the fly ball. Or if they hit a ground floor, like a floor hit, and the ball just keeps on rolling, and that moment, it depends on the ball's speed, but if it rolls past the inner diamond, you have to run as fast as you can to pick it up, depending on how far back you are. You have to run forward as quickly as you can, pick it up, and then throw it to first base, second base, third, wherever, you know what I mean? But so I was on the outfield, okay? And on the outfield, I was just kind of, I got my baseball hat on. I got my, to avoid the sun in my eyes, I got like my jersey or whatever, my baseball uniform and whatnot. And I'm out there and I'm kind of hunched over because I'm hunched over because one, it's like standing up straight is kind of like whatever. And it's also like in the anticipation, you might have to like scoop up the ball. Like I remember in baseball, they always told me that it's like, you don't let the ball come to you, you get to the ball. So you have to scoop it up. You have to run and scoop. It's a run scoop kind of a situation. And so I'm out there and I'm minding my business, all right? I'm not even aware of what's going on. And my coach comes up behind me and he like kind of scratches my back. And it turns out I got bird poop on me. I didn't even notice. I didn't even feel it, okay? But he kind of like scratches it off of me. And I was like, okay, weirdo. Like, I was like, this is predatory behavior. I was like, what a weirdo that this, my coach just in front of everybody, like literally in front of everybody just comes to my back and starts scratching me. I was like, what the heck is this guy's problem? I was like, that was weird. I was like, what is this grown man touching me for in front of everybody? I was like, in front of the whole field. Like literally during the game, he came up and scratched me on the back and I was just like, what a weirdo. It was like, that guy's weird. And then my mom told me, she was just like, no, it's because you had bird poop on you. I was like, what? And then she showed me because we took it off when we got home or whatever. And she was just kind of like, you see the stain? And I was just like, oh, ew, oh my gosh. But that was the only time it happened, okay? Now that means that it wasn't my fault, that the bird literally, for whatever reason, the bird came through, right? Was literally in the air and there's like 10 of us on the field, okay? It could have pooped on any one of us, but it chose me. For some reason, there's no trees nearby. I mean, there probably are, but they're on the outskirts. But like, I don't know why it chose to poop on me. So then I was thinking about that at the gym, and I was telling myself, I was like, what does it mean? Like, what's the connection? You know what I mean? I almost got bird pooped on me in front of the gym. And then before I got bird pooped on me and baseball, I was like, I'm not seeing the clear connection. I was like, what does it all mean? I was like, you know what I mean? I was just kind of like, how can I make a direct link between the two? And then, eventually I forgot about it. I was just kind of like, because I was getting really into my workout and my music, or whatever podcast I was listening to, like a YouTube video or whatever, I was listening to. And so eventually I came back home and I was like, what are some other close calls I had with birds? And I was just kind of like, the only close call I really ever had with birds outside of that are probably seagulls, you know what I mean, out there at the beach, and they're trying to like, eat your food or whatnot. Like, those are the only moments, but like, never really had an issue with any of that stuff. But anyways, long story short, I almost got, I was this close. I mean, literally like 2 more steps and I would have right on my head. It was just crazy. And then obviously you look at the sidewalk and you're like, oh my gosh, it's covered in bird poop. It's just like, it's absolutely disgusting. So I don't know. They got to figure out what to do with all those birds up there on the gym sign. But anyways, I just get this random feeling, this moment, this sort of like flashback to my YMCA days. And I was like, all right, baseball and me exercising, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's all connected. So I was just kind of like, is it like a sign to like pay attention to baseball? And I was just like, no, it can't be. I was just like, baseball? I was like, baseball. They really want me to pay attention to baseball? I was like, no way. I was just like, I'm not feeling it. So I was just kind of like, I don't know what the grander story. Maybe I'm missing a piece of the puzzle here. Maybe something else is going on. Maybe, dude, I think I have a connection. So I think I was wearing, no, I wasn't. I thought I was wearing red. I was wearing blue. Darn it. Because my uniform, my baseball uniform was red, I think. I used to play as they would make you dress up as like real baseball teams or whatnot. And so I think we were the Cardinals or something. We were some sort of red team. It was definitely like a bird of some kind. I'm going to say it was the Cardinals, okay? So we were the red Cardinals. And I thought I was wearing red today, so I thought it was all connected. But maybe the bird. No. Well, I'm just trying to make the connection, you know what I mean? But I was wearing blue today. And so maybe it's a contrast of colors, right? It's a contrast of the different colors, right? I wore red back then, and now I'm wearing blue. 2 primary colors, right? Together, they make purple. Maybe, you know what I mean? Maybe there's something there. And then the gym, no. Oh my gosh. I cannot. I don't know why I'm trying to make this stupid connection to it, but I just think it'd be so funny to like imagine if there's like a direct correlation between those two, but there's not. I was this close to it. I avoided it. I think it's really what it's trying to tell me is that, like, it's okay to be late to things. There it is. That's what it's really all about. It's like, how you're always like, oh, you got to show up early. You got to show up on time. It's like, you know what I mean? You got to plan ahead and get there early. Like, if I had gotten to the gym earlier, I would have gotten bird pooped on my head. You know what I mean? I would have literally gotten pigeon pooped on, and now I'm ruined. Now there's nothing for me to do. Now I'm going into the gym all bird pooped. You know what I mean? If I had gone there earlier, right? Like, and I mean a minute or seconds earlier, right? But instead, I got there a little late. I missed the bird poop, and then I got on with the rest of my day. I was okay. So I think it's really what it's really all about, what the message is behind all of this is it's okay to be late to things. It's okay to show up a little bit late. You know what I mean? It's okay to go to work just a little bit late. Hey, you need that coffee. You need that iced coffee. You know what I mean? If you're going to be late, you might as well get a coffee. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't drink coffee, but I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean? Like, you might as well, you know, if you're going to be late. Like, that was my kind of, like, feeling behind, and a lot of other people's feelings about, like, showing up late to, like, school. It's like, all right, you're going to be late to first period already. This is like, it was mostly high school people would feel like this, but I guess college people were pretty much like, and you know what I mean? Like, if I'm late, whatever. But anyways, I remember so vividly, it was like, everybody was of the same mentality. It was just kind of like, if I'm going to show up late, I might as well show up late with Starbucks, or, you know what I mean? I might as well eat breakfast or do this or do that, right? Like, everybody was just kind of like, you know what? We're going to be late for this, but I don't care, and we're going to be just fine. So, yeah, it's okay to be late. And honestly, you know what? This has encouraged me to keep on, you know, maybe it's not the best to show up late to everything, but I'm just saying, this is one of those times, one of those moments where you kind of have to think to yourself and let yourself know that, like, hey, if you have to see the silver lining. You have to see the good thing in everything, you know what I mean? I was kind of not mad at myself for going to the gym later than I usually do. I just feel like there was so much more, you know what I mean, I could have done throughout my day, and I just didn't, and I was kind of beating myself up over it, and then I was going to the gym later than I usually do, and I was late, you know, by a few minutes, and then the bird poop happened, and then now I'm like reevaluating it, and I was like, it's okay to be late, it's okay to make mistakes, it's okay to have a setback, because then you miss the bird poop, right? Like, that's what it's all about. It's just like, if you were just a second ahead, you would have gotten hit by the bird poop. You know what I mean? Worrying about the wrong things when it's like, literally just take a breather and enjoy the walk. You know what I mean? And take a look at your surroundings. If I had taken a look at my surroundings, I would have been a lot more cautious and I would have stayed away from the sidewalk. But, you know, you get kind of wrapped up in yourself. But anyways, if you've ever gotten bird pooped on you, I mean, what was I thinking about? I was thinking about those birds. Oh no, there was this video of somebody at like LA Beach or something. I don't know what it's called, Huntington, or it was like that big beach where everybody like works out at. I don't know the name of it. Maybe it's in like Malibu. I don't know. It was like this beach, right? And there's seagulls everywhere. And somebody gave the birds laxatives. And the birds were just pooping everywhere. And I thought of that. As well. I was just like, man, somebody gave those birds laxatives or something just to like get it out of their system to go crazy. And I remember that. I thought that was a crazy video. And I was like, oh my gosh, they messed up those birds' systems. But at the same time, I was like, that's a crazy prank. So, not that somebody was pranking me, but it was just kind of like, you know, that was something that came into my head. And then there's also the people that, I guess are in London, England, UK, Britain, something like that. Great Britain and stuff. They'll walk outside, or maybe it's Ireland or something. I don't know. They'll walk outside with fish and chips with like, I saw that video of this lady like eating like it looked like raw fish with onions on it, and she's about to like eat it, and the seagull comes in, swoops down, and takes it from her. And I was just kind of like, I didn't feel bad for her because I was just like, that's disgusting. I was like, that was the worst meal you could have chosen. I was like, if it was like a burger, then I would be like, oh, that's messed up. If it was like chicken strips or something, then I would be like, yeah, that's definitely awful, or like just a sandwich, whatever. I would just be like, yeah, that's awful. But it's fish. You're literally eating their prime food right in front of them, and you're gonna act like they're not gonna just swoop down and take it from you. It's like, yeah, this is what they do. You know what I mean? So they came down, they swooped it from her, and I didn't feel bad about it. I was just kind of like, that's disgusting, and you have terrible taste buds. So while we're on the topic of birds, I mean, might as well keep on coming up with more and more stories. When I was a kid, all right, this is really cool. This is a good story. I used to live in this amazing suburban city, and behind my house, there was a park that I played at on a daily basis with my brother and like some of the other neighborhood kids, and we would hang out there, all right? Then one day at the park or somehow or another, we became aware of a bald eagle that lived near the park or like near our neighborhood area. Like literally a bald eagle living in a tree nearby, like a nest of a bald eagle. Now, the basic rule of like a bald eagle was kind of like, hey, you don't hunt it, you don't kill it, you kind of just leave it alone. It's like a national bird. You just kind of let it be. You leave it alone. You know what I mean? Leave the bald eagle do its thing. So naturally, what my brother and I and a friend of ours did was we went to look for it. We wanted to go see it. We wanted to go take a look at it. And I'll never forgive this. Our neighbor, she had a golf cart, or like those, the golf carts that they have at the golf where you drive them and stuff. She had one of those. So we would take that out for, like on Halloween, we would take that out for a drive around the neighborhood to like get to houses faster. We would drive around in it, and it was just kind of all good fun. So I remember we took it out to the wilderness, to the wild, and we found the bald eagle, and we were kind of looking at it, and we were like, oh snap. And it was like, it was really cool. We saw the nest, we were like, damn, like that's a cool bald eagle. Like, you know what I mean? It was kind of a profound moment in my life where it was like, man, those bald eagles are real. Like, this is a national, in my head, I was like, hey, that's like a national treasure right there. I was like, that's something that's like, a big deal to people. I was like, damn, that's cool. And then the next thing we know, we're in the golf cart, right? We're about to go home. And we're like, we look at the bird and we're like, yeah, we found it, cool. We get back in the cart, and then the bald eagle goes out for like gets out of the nest, and then it starts chasing us. The bald eagle starts chasing us. And I don't remember how, I don't remember why, but maybe, I gotta be honest, okay? I'm gonna be honest. Hopefully I don't get in trouble for this, but I think I remember throwing sticks at it. All right, now, am I saying this is right? No, okay? That's the national bird, you know what I mean? That's the United States bird for you, okay? I shouldn't have thrown it at the thing. I just wanted to see it more. So, am I a bad person to bald eagles? I wouldn't say so, okay? I just wanted to get a better look at it, all right? Now, did I actually hit the bird? No. Okay, I was just kind of trying to rustle up the leaves a little bit to, you know what I mean? Get it to poke its head out to see its bald head, you know what I'm saying? So anyways, we're getting chased by it, and I just remember screaming at everybody. I was just like, drive, drive, drive. And then, obviously we're out there, we're being idiots, we're being kids. And I was just like, I honestly don't remember. I think the bird just kind of like went away or like circled back. And that was kind of the end of it. And then we all went home and we were just like, dude, that was nuts. And then we just kind of just like, we left it alone after that. I never saw it again, but maybe it moved, or maybe, you know what I mean? Maybe it was doing its own thing, or maybe it's still there. But I just remember, for the life of me, we were in that cart and I was just screaming. I was like, drive, drive, drive. Just like our lives depended on it. But the bird was not like, the bird didn't like attack us or anything. It just was flying like right behind us. And I thought it was trying to chase us. So I don't know. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But I thought that was really funny. Let me see. Any other bird stories? I mean, not really a bird story, but it's just kind of not one from my own life, but like, those videos of ducks, and you typically think they're like, oh, they'll just eat bread or whatever. It's like, no, that's not the case. And I remember I saw this video of like 4 ducks. Okay, somebody comes along with like this clean bowl full of peas, the green peas, right? And it's like crystal clear water. It's like perfect. And then they put it down on the ground for the ducks to eat, and they start going crazy in there. They go, if you watch it, it's like, it's pretty cool to watch them eat. And then as you see them eating, you notice how messed up and dirty their beaks are, because the water just turns like brown and like kind of blackish. And you're just like, oh my gosh, like that is, you know what I mean? It's like, they don't really wash that. You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of like, it's just kind of funny to think about. They're like going in there crazy, going in those peas, those green peas. And I never thought that would be something that they would, realistically like. But I thought that was really funny. What else is there? I mean, they'll do stuff. What am I thinking about? They're at the gym, right? They'll have like TVs all throughout the place, and they'll kind of like play movies and different channels or whatnot. And I remember they had Dude, Where's My Car up there, and it was right at the point where they're like meeting the ostrich. If you've never watched it, spoilers for the movie, but there's like an ostrich scene. Well, there's multiple ostrich scenes, but they're literally there with an ostrich, and the ostriches kind of like gang up on them and like headbutt them and knock them out. And I was thinking to myself, like watching that, I was like, dude, that's terrifying. I was like, I don't ever want to be ganged up on by those ostriches. I was like, that's crazy, especially because they're pretty dangerous. And that movie kind of taught me why. But anyways, let me think. Is there anything else I want to say about birds? I mean, there are multiple times where I think about like, what if I was a bird? What kind of bird would I be? And obviously the correct answer is like an aquatic bird, like a duck or a goose, right? Because they got like the trifecta. They can walk on land, they can fly in the sky, they can swim, right? They can do everything. You know what I mean? It's like, it's the perfect bird. But when I really think about it, when I think about like the potential of a bird, I think to myself, I'm like, what I really want is to be like a falcon, or like one of those hawks that's like super quick. You know what I'm talking about? Like they get up to like speeds of 120 miles per hour, and they can like pick up deer, and they can like, you know what I mean? If you ever have you ever seen that? Oh my gosh, it's so crazy to see those videos of like a literal bird picking up a whole deer. And I'll just be like, "What the?" I'll be like, "I never even thought of like a bird eating deer." But, you know, it is what it is. And then I did watch a video of like kind of like the bird cycle. Not the bird cycle. What's the right? I just kind of like the bird lays the eggs and then the chicks hatch and then they start feeding the birds and then the birds eventually get out of the nest and they fly and they do all these things, right? And I remember I was watching it and I was just like, dude, birds are so creepy. I was just like, oh my gosh, it's so not good to look at. Like I remember I was watching it and those little chicks, those little baby birds, oh my gosh, they're just like they creep me out a little bit. I was just like, what is going on here? But you know, then I just like I rewatched it a few times and I was just kind of like, I mean, that's just life. I was like, I have nothing to be grossed out about. I was just like, I was literally that little bird right there. You know what I mean? And then, you know, eventually you grow into your feathers. You know what I mean? And you take off and fly. You know what I'm saying? So, in conclusion, birds are pretty cool. You know what I mean? Birds are all right in my book. Oh, and also, I remember this so vividly. Okay, this is one more thing about birds, okay? So, I remember in school, I think it was 7th grade, okay? We had to take English or language arts or whatever, right? Okay, so 7th grade was like, I had to take like seven periods of classes, okay? One of the classes was English and another one was language arts, all right? I think it was my English class. In the English class, it was kind of like, I remember my teacher, she made us read these packets or she made us take this quiz, essentially, so to speak, like a test. And after we finished the test, we all got graded on it. And then we had to do like we basically had to do group check. Like, okay, if everybody takes a test, okay, and then she pairs you up afterwards. She's like, okay, here's your test. We're done with the test now. She gives you like your grade or whatever for the test, right? Then she says, all right, everybody pair up now. And we're going to do like a group discussion about like the problems that we missed and like the problems that we got right and how we can do better moving on as a class. And I was like, what? And so she kind of grouped us up together and she would kind of like, okay, let's go over. So she would come around or like maybe she would have us go to her or stuff like that. She would like, okay, so we're going to go over question 5. And she's like, question 5 is da 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 da, right? And then she's like, who got that answer right? Or like, who got that answer wrong? And then you have to be like, and I remember I was just like, I got the question wrong. And she was like, okay, so then she goes over the question and she's just like, does everybody see how he got that wrong? And then I just remember feeling like, why am I felt stupid. I was just like, why am I have to get checked by everybody here in the class or like by my group, essentially? And I remember this one kid, he got the question right, okay? I got the question wrong and I was the only one who got that question wrong. And then he was just kind of like, I just remember the way he spoke about this. It was crazy. It was something about birds, okay? The answer was, I don't remember the question, but I remember the answer was birds are smart and they're problem solvers and they can think about stuff. It had to do with like birds creating tools. Like birds can like make tools out of like sticks and stuff. And that was kind of like what the premise of the question of the answer was. And they were like, what do you get from this question or from this passage, essentially, like from this quote? And then the answer is like, birds are smart and they're capable of making great tools with their talons and beaks and stuff. And then I was just like, okay. I was just like, I you know what I mean? I was like, yeah, I got it wrong, whatever, you know what I mean? I was like, I'll think about that next time. But I just remembered the other student who got it right. He was just like, oh, I could see I was like, that was a hard question. I just remember he was like, that's a hard question. I could totally see how he get that wrong. I was like, you didn't get it wrong. So you're literally making fun of me. I was just like, dude, he's belittling me in front of in front of our group, essentially. He was like, I could totally see how he got that question wrong. Oh, yep. He was just like, he was trying to give me like some grace, but at the same time, he made me feel like stupid. I was just like, why do I have to be here with everybody? I was like, I thought that was just the dumbest thing in the world for the teacher to do. It's like you're literally just like showing my other classmates how stupid I am in like a group think. And I was just like, I was just like, why do I have to be here with everybody else? I was like, this is so not cool. I just like, oh my gosh, I didn't like it at all. And then the kid was just like, that's a hard question. He was just like, I could totally see how he got that question wrong. He was just like, and I was just like, you didn't get it wrong though. So like, obviously you don't. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And at that time, I was just kind of like, it was basically the luck of the draw. You know what I mean? Because I was like, I'm pretty sure I guessed on that question. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know the right answer. So I took a guess. I guessed it wrong. And then he probably took a guess and he guessed it right. And then he was just kind of like, I could totally see how he got that question wrong. Oh, yeah, I totally get it. And I was just like, bro, shut up. I was just like, oh my gosh, that was awful. But seventh grade, man, seventh grade was wild, a wild time. Maybe I'll do like a whole like, you know, maybe I'll talk about like each of my grades, each of my my school grades. That'd be funny. So, anyways, I don't know how we got so sidetracked. But anyways, in conclusion, all right, in the grand finale of this whole thing, when you're this close to getting bird pooped, when you're this, this close to getting pooped on by a bird, just remember, it's okay to be late for things. It's okay, you know what I mean? You have to see it as more of a blessing, you know what I mean? That somehow or another you avoided a huge mistake, you know what I mean? You avoided nature's, you know what I mean, natural poop. And it feels good. It feels really good. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for listening. I'll talk to you guys all next time. Thank you.